Can you still, you know what?
Do the sex?
No. K-I-L.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Eldom.
Brunch. Hit it, boys.
Merry Christmas, Pete.
Merry Christmas, Deej.
Good to have you.
Yeah, always.
Good to have you on this Christmas episode. It's November.
That's right. It is.
A continuation of the worst part of Halloween season is already poking its ugly head out. That would be the people who complain about candy corn are now already complaining about Christmas music.
That's right. I've grown to hate more than anything the scheduled debates.
Yes.
The scheduled internet debates. So let's run through them. Why not? You mentioned the candy corn. Hate that one. I tweeted about that.
So do you know that you tweeted the exact same thing as me? I think same time, same day. I think it was like one day after you tweeted the exact same thing. I
Really?
tweeted, which is the worst part of Halloween season are people who think not liking candy corn is like a personality trait
yeah.
or like their brand.
Or just like that the discussion is a new thing. It drives me crazy.
Haven't we learned by now that your experience is not the only one?
Yeah.
And that different people have different I think maybe that's like the last way that people can be judgmental assholes that I guess is accepted on the internet or something, that they're like, okay, the last group of people I'll be really fucking annoying to are people who like candy corn. Candy corn, by the way, is fucking fine. And even if you don't like it...
I don't like it, but I don't care if you like it, honestly.
Think of how many foods you don't like.
Right.
That would you ever give like a more than 1 second dissertation on why this is true? Oh, candy corn is just like wax sugar, blah, blah. Everything you eat is just some form of sugar.
Right. So it's candy corn during Halloween. It's Christmas music or in like November.
Yeah.
Then it's Die Hard in December, whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
That's my least favorite one.
Yeah. So those three are the big ones around this time of year. Then there is the ones that don't necessarily have a season are like, is hot dog a fucking sandwich? Fucking let's talk about that for 8 more years. What else
That
we
one
got?
I'm still I think the jury's still out. So I like that conversation.
But I don't care about the answer.
It's like tomato fights. It's more about the conversation than it is about any winners or losers.
But I don't care about the conversation either. It doesn't change my any.
I think
You're in on this
I'm
one?
I'm gonna stand
What?
up for the hot dog sandwich.
What?
I think it's funny that it exists. I think that
I think it
conversation
was
is at
funny.
least funny.
I think it was funny, but it's been run into the ground so much that I don't care anymore.
How you like the crying Jordan meme? Do you like that one?
Yeah.
We don't use that one anymore.
Yeah, we don't really, but I think we had our fun with it. I
gonna
think that
start
we
using that.
That's the difference, is that we sort of like that ran its course. We had our fun with it, and then we moved on. I feel like we're well past having fun with the is hot dog a sandwich.
Yeah, fun comes in waves. That's my life experience.
Right,
at
let it
least.
retire at least for like a couple of years, and
then
then bring
it'll-
it back like Harambe.
I think that I'm not as upset. I get why you'd be sick of hot dog versus a sandwich.
It falls into that category. It's like, how many times we're gonna have
I like
this
to stoke
fucking
those,
conversation?
I like to stoke those flames every now and then.
What else do we have?
Maybe I think I'm gonna tweet that later on. Hey gang, hot dog sandwich or no?
God, I
Where
hate it.
where are we falling on the whole hot dog?
Don't.
I'm gonna do that right
Don't
now.
do it.
Where
Oh no.
we
No, I hate this.
falling on the whole
Where y'all sitting? Hot dog sandwich?
hot dog sandwich
Where the butt go?
conversation or debate?
Conversation.
Where are we falling on the whole hot dog
Oh, fuck this.
sandwich conversation? But I mean, the candy corn thing, NGMI, gotta lose that shit. And Mariah Carey, the center of attention right now, because a Texas bar put up a sign that said, Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You will be skipped if played before December 1st. After December 1st, the song is allowed one time a night.
Bullshit.
Get the fuck out of here with the rules.
Right.
That's such a... I'm a recovering rule addict. I used to love, if you play this song or like if you wear this shirt with that, just just try to be happy.
Right.
Just try to be happy.
Don't police other people and how they live their lives and what they enjoy.
Yeah, that's really insufferable. So this bar put up that sign, got Mariah Carey's attention. It started this conversation, and honestly, if you listen to Christmas music, I have been annoyed with people who will say, like, so what? It's September. I'm playing Christmas music today. Cool. Didn't ask for your life story.
Right. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Like, if it's June, I don't give a shit. If it makes you happy, go for it. But, like, you don't have to wear it like a badge of honor either.
And I do listen to Christmas music. Like, mainly Jackson 5 Christmas music, because I listen to the Jackson 5, and I like them a lot. And if I'm listening to their stuff, I actually will put on some of their Christmas stuff because it's so good. But man, just let people play stuff.
It's interesting.
DBAA.
It's interesting the process which we've gone through over this podcast and its lifespan, because towards the beginning, I think that people were happy and we were miserable to an extent. So like we got angry about it. We made rules. We did like these things. We push back on happiness,
growth,
and now I feel like it's flipped on its head, where everybody's so miserable and trying to make these rules, and we're trying to find things that make us happy.
Oh yeah, if you can be nice about something, just fucking
try.
Do it.
Yeah.
I saw Ted Lasso was getting a hard time over the weekend because everybody was Ted Lasso for Halloween, which everybody was Ted Lasso. Everybody was Phoebe Bridgers. Everybody was Squid
I think
Game.
I saw like 4 different types of costumes. I saw Ted Lasso. I saw Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian.
Oh, I
slash MGK and Megan Fox.
I saw that a lot.
The 2 biggest couples costumes I think I saw. Then I saw Squid Game and Cruella DeVille.
Cruella DeVille was popular, but a lot of people doing the skeleton suit Phoebe Bridgers thing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's an easy one because like Phoebe Bridgers took a Halloween costume and made it a Phoebe Bridgers thing.
Right.
Now people are taking Halloween costumes and making it a Phoebe Bridgers thing.
That was like a under $30 topical costume thing. So if you could do that, very cool. But I saw somebody who was saying like, "Oh man, like I'm gonna need a real break from Ted Lasso after all this," and just saying like I'm seeing so much Ted Lasso everywhere, and someone responded, "Ted Lasso's toxic positivity should have taken care of that." And I remember when I learned about the term toxic positivity, I was excited by it because there is such a thing as that.
I think
and
so.
I
Yeah.
do not accuse Ted Lasso of doing that. Like toxic positivity is, at least in my experience, I view toxic positivity as, hey, I'm not doing so great. Yeah, you are.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Like,
It's like-
you
it's-
got this, you got this. Like,
right.
You
Somebody's got it worse than you.
you're good.
Right.
And
So yeah, like
I've long
yeah.
been like, okay, if anything's wrong, that's valid, even if
Right.
it's not the worst thing in the world.
The worst thing that happens to a certain person is still the worst thing that has happened to that person.
Yeah.
So like, it may not be worse than somebody else's example of the worst thing that has happened to them, but it doesn't invalidate their feelings based off of the fact that it's the worst thing that's ever happened to them.
I guess my point is people are willing to say that Ted Lasso is a bad thing or a harmful
Of course they're
thing. So that
willing.
that shows the state of looking for things to be bad.
Drives me insane.
So
man.
try to look for the good. I'm not trying to project any toxic positivity on you. I am positive that the upcoming tomato fights is going to be an absolute hoot because we finished recording today with the great Jay Baruchel.
Yeah,
Speed versus the Dark Knight.
Yeah, and a great movie matchup with a great guest. Very happy with the way that it went. If you're not subscribed to the Patreon and you want to listen to that before it comes out on the main feed, I don't know if
You're gonna have to wait so long to get it on the main feed.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
at least.
Yeah, that's
Might
right.
be 2 weeks and a weekend. Might maybe drop those like wait 2 weeks and then like the next Monday you get it.
Patreon.com/listentobrunch is where you will get the Tomato Fights 4 and all the ensuing Tomato Fights
Previous.
2-week.
Oh yeah, and previous as well.
Yeah, but you can get those on the main feed. My point is that
Not 3. You got to wait 2 weeks or now
that's true.
A week and a
That's
half.
true. Yeah. So if you want to get the Tomato Fights 2 weeks before they come out and hit the main feed, go to patreon.com/listentobrunch. $5 a month gets you the access 2 weeks early. Also gets you the access to the video episodes.
video episodes and any bonus episodes
Yep.
we do. So depending on how many Tomato Fights come out, if we do 3 a month and then a different bonus one, whatever, you're getting it all and you're getting everything on video.
Jay was
So-
predictably great. Jay rocks. He was another sort of
White whale.
Sean Evans situation. Not even a white whale. A Sean Evans situation where it was like really wanted to save that bullet to you. So like me and Jay have been friendly for like a couple of years at this point, basically through hockey, and like hockey fandom and through knowing each other on Twitter and stuff like that. So built that relationship through Twitter, and we had discussed like, hey, it would be kind of cool to get Jay on at some point, but never. The difference between Jay and Sean is that we never asked Jay until Tomato Fights, but we knew that we wanted to save him for something good, and this was well worth the save.
Yeah, and this is more the Jay Baruchel episode of Tomato Fights is more like a brunch episode. I don't say that in a good way or a bad way. I say that as a statement of fact. That's more like a brunch episode than any of the previous Tomato Fights ones. Like we go off on tangents and
Yeah, much like
have-
Speed, the train goes off the rails.
Yeah, we have conversations about different, but like even when we're like off the rails on topic. So like we have conversations. Like we talk about Undeclared. We talk about some stuff he's done. We talk about his experience with critics and Rotten Tomatoes and everything, and just him being a Batman guy is very, very helpful for this conversation, because you said when we were watching these movies before, hardest movie we've done to take notes on is The Dark Knight, because like we've seen it a million times, you know everything like the back of your hand. Like what kind of notes can you take? But the
Right.
conversation we ended up having about The Dark Knight is really good, and Jay's hilarious.
Yeah, he's
So,
the best.
great guest, as have been all of our guests. So check it out on patreon.com/listentobrunch. Really appreciate your support. This is saw some movies, not the same ones. I still haven't seen Dune. You have.
I have seen Dune. It took me a while. I was very excited for Dune, and just with the way that my life is going and the way that my movie consumption is going, did not get to see Dune as soon as it came out, which was a bit of a bummer. And it was even more of a bummer that it was one of those movies that I like was adamant about seeing in theaters, because Dune is available on HBO Max, and for better or for worse, I've been on the watching movies on HBO Max as they become available. And I've taken away, I think, my theater going experience because of that. But Dune was one of the movies where I was like, I got to see this. It seems like a movie that you have to see in theaters. And I'm so glad that I waited.
Yeah. I am not hyper interested in Dune. This is a movie that I'm going to have to make myself see. And
I don't know if you'll like it.
I don't know if I will either. That's why we live, though. Right?
That's true. Yeah, you
To
got to
learn things.
That's right.
At some point in my life, I'm going to know whether or not I like Dune. This is information that I currently don't possess. And as a very curious human, I think it's one of my traits, I think I will feel more satisfied in life with the information of, do I like Dune?
Yeah, I think I'm more okay with you just being open to it. I don't want you to shut it off. But you do.
I don't think I've ever done that with one of our movies.
You do it with that type of movie, though. Like, you do it with, like, Star Wars, Harry Potter.
What are you talking about? I'm fucking with
Yes,
you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Name
I was
one
waiting
example.
for you to follow up on it. Yes. No, like, so it's sort of in that universe, I suppose, and the type of movie that it is. So I didn't know whether you would be willing to see it.
Dune is a hockey movie from our friend Jay Baruchel. He was on Tomato Fights. You can check it out.
That's the meme of the week.
Patreon.com.
It's like the Goon stylized font
Goon
with Dune DOON.
Have
and
you
it's
seen
Timothy
that?
Chalamet. No,
Have you seen that yet? Oh, that's our meme of the week.
that's our meme of the week.
I was mad that somebody came up with How You Dune. Did you see that one?
No.
That was they took the post because a lot of people are fucking with that poster. They took the poster, replaced all the faces with Joey, and all the names at the top said Joey Tribbiani, Joey Tribbiani,
That's
Joey
awesome.
Tribbiani, and it said How You Dune.
That's awesome.
Very good. That was like, I'm like, I fucking thought of Sob Rock, but I didn't think of How You Dune. Damn it, fucking.
Quick Sobrock note, the new version of Last Train Home. I told you, I texted you as I was listening to it for the first time, and I was like, yeah, I'm glad that
Exactly
it
what I
exists.
expected.
I'm glad that it exists. It's not super exciting outside of the awesome solo that is at the end of it. I gotta revise that statement. I really like it.
Yeah, I don't,
really like it.
It's
It's
not
very different.
dislike. I don't necessarily. Maybe I'll have to listen to it again. I don't remember it being very different.
Well, it's very different from like the vibe of Last Train Home.
It was like kind of my guess of if there were to be a slower version of. Like, I don't like this is becoming a thing with YouTubers now, where if a clip of a song is released. So when John Mayer teased that Last Train Home was coming out, he put out a
teaser video.
10-second little teaser thing, and I forget her name. YouTuber Mary something. I'm gonna look this up because it'll drive me crazy. Mary.
Steenbergen.
It's something like that. Shit. Mary Spender? Is that her name? You're a music YouTuber guy. Mary?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary Spender
Okay.
made a video that was guessing how the John Mayer song goes. Oh, that was creative. That was
Sure.
like, so she made a thing and like added these words and everything, and she was like, all right, based off this little clip, this is how I think this goes. And John Mayer got like really into it, so he sent her a bunch of stuff and like made a couple of videos with her.
Okay.
Just like classic John Mayer cool on the internet thing. But now that's become a trend where artists now put out the little teaser things and YouTubers say guessing how the rest of this song goes. If you were to do a guessing how the Last Train Home ballad version goes, it would have been pretty close to
Probably.
what we ended up getting.
But I liked it.
But that's fine,
Well,
right?
yeah.
I mean, exactly. It's classic
I'm
John
glad
Mayer.
it
Not
exists.
gonna electrocute you.
Yeah.
Always say that about him. But yeah, always give more Sob Rock stuff. Although it does hurt the argument that actually it doesn't because it's the same song. That he's just still trying to squeeze so much out of something.
Yeah, I
So
think it
small.
further emphasizes the point that like he has a small collection of songs, and he's trying to make a universe out of it and like get every piece of content that he can out
Yeah.
of this like small collection. I think that aids to it because he's just making different versions of the same song.
I didn't see Dune, but I did see Last Night in Soho, which I had wanted to see. That was like a real Dave has circled movie, and I went and I don't know if that's streaming, but I also saw it in theaters. Fucked up some Raisinets.
Hell yeah.
I had an empty theater even.
Wow, holy shit. So my Dune experience was very different. It was packed. I got like the last seat in between two people.
Do you recommend I see Dune IRL in person?
Yes, 100%. I'm very excited to I think that the situation here is that we're going to explain the movies to one another.
Lightly, without
Without spoiling, because I
without
still want
doing
you to see
huge ass pieces.
Yeah, and I still want you to see Dune. I still want you to enjoy it fully. I'll try to give you, and this is going to be a fun exercise because it is a difficult movie to explain, at least for me, because I didn't read the books. I have no exposure to Dune. I barely understood what was going on as I was watching it, but I enjoyed it. So I'm excited to try to explain it to you without using any aids, whether it's Wikipedia. I don't really remember the character names or anything, so it's going to be fun.
So I did read the books, and I made videos guessing how the movie would go. interested to learn how close I was. I
Very
did.
cool.
Who's in the movie? Timothy Chalamet. And
Yep.
who else?
Oscar Isaac,
Oscar Isaac.
Jason Momoa.
I know Oscar Isaac from the what's the gambler? What was the card counter?
Oh yeah, the card. I think it's called the card.
If that's the name
the
of
dealer
that
or
movie,
something.
let's see. The card.
The card dealer.
It is called the card counter.
Okay.
That movie sucked. Let me see what that
Yeah,
was on.
that was you explaining that movie
Rotten
to me
Tomatoes?
was quite funny.
It's an 86.
Zendaya
Zendaya
is in
is
Dune.
Vichy.
Yes, that's right. It's somewhat of a bait and switch in Dune because she's like billed as like sort of like the co-lead, but she's sort of barely in it.
You know what the co-lead of these last couple of years has been? Mental wellness and making sure that you're okay. It has been a challenging couple of years for the world, but also globally. I think people have gotten smarter over the years and have more checked in with how are they feeling, how are they doing, making sure they're taking care of themselves in the way that they should, learning to manage daily stress, anxious thoughts, whatever you may have. There's a good chance, hopefully you don't have any of these things, but there's a good chance if you're human, you've got stresses, you've got anxieties, you've got whatever it may be. New Mood helps guide you to mental wellness and give you the tools you need to tackle stress so you'll feel empowered to take on whatever life throws at you. Noom is known for their program Noom Weight, which helps countless people, and folks are very excited about Noom Mood. It can be stressful trying to think about how to tackle all these things that life throw at us. With Noom Mood, you'll take the journey to mental wellness one step at a time. Their guided approach teaches you the power of shifting your mindset in just a few minutes a day. Now, I'll just say, Noom Mood is a good sort of companion to whatever you're doing. So, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know if you go to the gym or something and you feel really good and you're like, God, I just want to do whatever exercise I just did felt great. I want to do that every day, but you can't do that every day. Like, that's kind of,
Or it's like a supplement.
right. That's how it can feel with therapy, where, like, I don't know if you go once a week, however often you go, sometimes you're like, damn, I wish I could go again tomorrow or do whatever. Like, that's the place that New Mood can kind of fill. So if you're going to therapy, you can supplement with New Mood, or if you're not going to therapy, maybe New Mood could be your kind of way of getting into checking on your mental wellness.
And maybe it's like if you're thinking about therapy and you want to just like dip your toe in the water, New Mood might be a good way to sort of try that out and then decide if you want more.
Yeah, it can help you feel less stressed, happier, sleep better, just a little calmer. That's personally my experience with when you're doing the right things and you're taking those steps and you're kind of checking whatever boxes you need to be checking. Just being a little calmer.
Yeah.
It sounds silly, but you realize, at least I do, when I'm a little less wound, I can actually feel that relief. So
and even putting in like a little bit of effort to improve your mental wellness goes a long way into helping you realize like what you need to work on and what you don't.
1000%. Makes you
so,
feel a sense of control.
Yeah, like even acknowledging the fact that you are taking strides to improve your mental wellness opens up a door.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like getting a gym membership, except that ain't a gym. Opening the mind and tapping into there and taking care of that, that ain't a, ooh, it's too far away, I can't go thing. Once you start doing that, you're making progress and you're taking care of yourself.
And it's
so
just as important to take care of your mind as it is your body.
I've always
Both
prioritized
sides.
mind over body.
But both sides are important.
Yes, it is. Worry less and feel happier. Sign up for your trial at noom.com/brunch. That is noom.com/brunch. I'm going to give it to you a third time. NOOM.com/brunch.
That's the podcast.
All right. Doom.
Doom. That's the video game. You ever played Doom, the video game?
When did it come out?
Like in the
90s?
90s?
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I think I I was there when it was
experimented
played. I
with
was there.
Dune, yeah.
That was on the computer.
Yeah.
I was there when it was played, but that
Yeah,
was
like,
I had a real hard time even pretending to give a shit.
Okay.
But people, I mean, I remember everybody was into it.
Yeah. It was just like I feel like in that time there was like one or two of like a thing, and Doom was one or two of the video games.
What
that
was the
existed.
other one?
Like the pinball game on your computer.
Minesweeper.
Yeah.
Doom. I do remember people playing Doom. Really, well, once The Sims came out, that was when computer games were cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are the Sims like now? That's what I call music. They're probably on like
No, the Sims still exist.
Sims 600.
No,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
but no, I think that they've kind of just like built out like expansion packs and stuff. But I think they're maybe on like 5. The Sims 5.
Can you still, you know what?
Do the sex?
No. K-I-L.
Oh yeah.
Album.
Mm-hmm. In many ways.
You can still do that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What a fucked thing. When you're like, put the
Man.
refrigerator there, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go get something to eat. Wait a second. It's on fries. And you're like, you just noticed. Well, I'm glad you're thinking about it now. You're going to be thinking about it kind of for the rest of your life.
Please sign up for the Patreon, because if we get to 350 patrons, we'll do a
We start
sleepover.
playing The
And
Sims.
I have The Sims on my computer.
Play Sims the whole time.
Yeah, that would be incredible. An all-night Sims stream, just finding different ways to
Yo!
KILL.
All-night Sims sleepover stream.
Incredible.
Just like K-I.
Us playing God for
Yeah.
an entire night?
Yeah.
Whew.
We'll have a Kiki. It's K-I-K-I. It's where we eat Kit Kats, and K-I-L-L are Sims people.
I love this.
Is that too dark?
No?
I don't know. I'll just
Well, it's
be
an
real.
it's
like,
an
that's
overnight
how
stream.
that's
It'll
how
be
people
very dark.
played The Sims. But I don't know how video games are played now. I don't know if
Killing's still
doing
allowed.
that's still big in video games.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I know they do shooter games.
Mm-hmm.
I assume you're hitting others.
Yep.
When you do that.
Yep.
Interesting. No bottles and cans, huh?
I mean, you can, maybe at the practice range, but
And
you're
no-
practicing for something.
No tires, no pictures
And
of
it
Bin
ain't
Laden or
for
nothing.
the cans. No.
All right, so other players.
Yeah, so please sign up for the Patreon if you want to watch us.
Do you have any? What are they called? Not NPSs.
NPC?
Well, NPC. Yeah. What's it? Non-player character.
Non-playable character?
Let me tell you. I saw this one movie.
Free guy.
It's called Three Guys, and had a lot of NPCs.
That's right.
You know,
I watched Free Guy this week.
real? Oh, you
yeah,
did?
I did. I finally watched it.
Wow. When I was on a
Also saw that Justin Bieber went as Free Guy for Halloween.
ooh, very cool. I did I had a stretch in my life where I just didn't eat sugar, and it's crazy to think of that, but it might have been during this podcast even. It was like almost like a year-ish. I was doing no sugar for the most part. I had a couple of things that I would allow myself to do, but a big staple of this lifestyle, and it wasn't even crazy. I wasn't like annoying about it or anything. I did very few NPCs, which were non-pizza carbs. Like,
Okay.
I'm still eating pizza.
Okay,
Still
yeah.
like drinking beer and stuff like that. But my initial knowledge of NPC was
That's incredible.
non
Not quite the same.
non-pizza carbs. So is Free Guy in Dune?
No.
Is any of the oh, by the way, do you know who the person was in it that I told you to not look up the cast because I wanted you to see the reveal that someone was in it?
I assume that it was Taika Waititi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
Great.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi's great in that.
Yeah, he really is. He's great in everything. He's the best.
It's a very good movie. Did you notice that it was set only in Boston? Or filmed only in Boston?
No.
Oh, yeah.
It was filmed in Boston?
Oh, yes, like distractingly so.
Really?
Yeah,
I did
that
not
whole-
pick up on
yeah,
that.
that whole city is Boston.
Holy shit. I didn't. How did I not pick up on that? Wow.
Very, I mean,
The only Boston thing that I got out of Free Guy was the orange coffee cup, which very much seemed like a Dunkin' coffee cup.
oh, right. There's some dunks type situations in there. But, I mean, Free Guy and your cousin, one and the same.
It's true.
Someone was, Christian Arcand, a Boston radio guy and very good fella, was your cousin from Boston. That was one
That's
of
a good
my
Halloween costume.
favorite Halloween costumes.
Dune was a movie. It's a sci-fi movie. It's set in outer space.
When it come out?
When did it come out?
Yeah.
October 2021.
Okay. So recent movie.
Very recent. And it is about. So Oscar Isaac plays Timothée Chalamet's father. He's like essentially the king or like the ruler of these people.
So Timothée Chalamet exists in the Dune universe?
He does. He's the prince.
Okay.
And Rebecca Ferguson is his mother.
So Timothée Chalamet acts in this movie as well. And additionally, Timothée Chalamet exists in this universe? So like, is he like biting his tongue whenever they talk? They're like, "Hey, this is Timothée Chalamet's father." Is Timothée Chalamet's character like biting his tongue? Like, I know who that is.
No, I don't think that it exists in that way. But
maybe in a sequel.
Maybe, yeah, because this is only Dune Part 1, so the options are endless after this. They've already announced
coming up.
They've already announced Dune. Here we go again.
Nice.
Dune. Here we do Dune again.
No, we're still doing this.
Great joke. I liked that one. The most distracting thing.
I'm doing my best.
There were a lot of elements of this movie that are like you gotta really sink yourself into the world. You gotta kind of engross yourself with it. Like,
love it.
It really centers around. They go to like a different planet they're trying to get the spice, which is like this little like dust stuff that's really valuable. So they're trying to basically they're trying to like crop the spice. They're trying to collect the spice because it's super valuable in the universe. And so they go to the other planet to get the spice. But one of the most distracting things about Dune is that some characters' names are like crazy. And some of them are just human names.
Wes.
No, like Timothée Chalamet's character is Paul.
Mm-hmm.
His mother's name is Jessica. And I forget the father's name. I forget Oscar Isaac's name. But Jason Momoa is in this, and his name is Duncan. So they have very human names. But, like, all of the other things are fantastical.
So they're trying to get this spice.
Mm-hmm.
All they can talk about is this spice.
That's right.
So, you remember Shake 'em Up fries?
Yep.
That kind of thing?
It does kind of look like that, too. It looks like, it really looks like Old Bay.
I was going to say.
They are hunting the Old Bay.
I was a kid when Shake 'em Up fries came out, and kid in that, I don't know, it was probably like 10th grade or something like that. I don't think I knew what Old Bay seasoning was. We were super excited about whatever that spice was.
It was just Old Bay.
A little bit of Old Bay
Right.
seasoning.
Yeah.
You go to Philadelphia, you get crab fries.
Just
French fries.
dumping the Old Bay on them.
Dumping Old Bay seasoning on there.
So yeah, it's all about Sir Paul.
Whoa.
Sir Paul trying to get his hands on some Old Bay. That's the plot of Dune.
I don't know if you know this. I'm a huge fan of Sir Paul.
Yes, I do know that.
Yeah.
And I think that it sounds like you're a huge fan of Old Bay. So this movie
I
might
am.
be right up your alley.
Did you do Shake 'em Up fries when Burger King was doing that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Honestly, like Burger King does not do many things well, but fries.
Oh, come on, Pete. What do you mean? You don't like Burger King?
We don't have to get into that now.
Why, Pete? What's your take on Burger King? Why don't you just get it out in the open? Why don't you say it?
It's for poor people.
You've been home.
It's for low class people.
I mean, it's extremely similarly priced to other fast food establishments.
Right. So if you're going to that one, you're just a lower class of human.
I would posit that paying more money for something worse is something that rich people do, not something that poor people do. Right?
That's actually a good point.
Right? Like spending a certain amount of money on something because you feel, I don't know, this is probably what it should be. That is way more rich person behavior.
That's
than
true.
Poor.
You're making some good points here.
Tax the rich. We should replace with make Burger King even more expensive.
Yeah. So it's about so Timothée Chalamet and his family, they moved to this planet to crop the spice, but then there's like a different like species of being who exist on this planet, and they're trying to protect the spice, and they're trying to like maintain their freedom and not be like overtaken by Timothy Chalamet's people, and so they're welcoming them, but also setting boundaries.
Okay.
They're like we want to maintain our freedom. You can have the spice.
You could be here, just don't rub our faces in.
Right, exactly. And
Sounds problematic.
the people that there's like another species of people that had evacuated this planet who had previously sort of oppressed the sand people.
Okay.
The sand people who were like protective of the dunes where the spice is, and so they're allowing Timothy Chalamet's people in, and basically the conflict is there's like a 3-way conflict of the people trying to fight the Timothy Chalamet's people, and then Timothy Chalamet's people butting heads with the Dune people.
Goodness.
So it's a complicated plot, and you have to kind of allow yourself to be brought into that universe, but it is spectacularly shot. There isn't a ton of action in the first one. I'm assuming that it's going to be a lot more action packed in the next installment. This, in a lot of ways, this felt like a setup and like a lot of world building for the second one. So it's really like a bridge to get you into the universe, but it's shot spectacularly. The acting is great. And what action there is very, very good.
Dune is an 83 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair. I really liked it. I thought that I said that it was quote unquote very awesome. And I mean that literally. Like, it is sort of awe-inspiring in the technical aspects of it, like the effects and the cinematography, all really awesome, but it's not a perfect movie, and I understand why there are some people that don't like it. And,
Okay.
And I understand that it's not for everybody, and that, if you're going to spend 2.5 hours or whatever it is, you probably want, a lot of people are going to want more. They're going to want more action. They're going to want more of like a complete story, whereas this is very much a build-up movie.
My fear is I'm not going to love it, but I'm definitely going to take it for a spin. You did not tell me that Stellan Skarsgård's in it.
He is.
We got Stellan.
He looks gross.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Intentionally. He is disgusting.
Javi Bardem.
He is minimally involved.
I've never heard him called Javi.
No, Javier.
It's a sports thing.
Javier Bardem.
A lot of Javiers in sports are called Javi. I don't know if that's their call or if the media does that to him.
Or if it's like a sports
names.
Right.
Yeah, you toss a Y on there.
And like if you're an actor,
Yeah.
you probably want to be Javier.
Yeah. Who else we got in this? David Dastmalchian, the guy with the
yes.
crazy eyes.
He is also in The Dark Knight.
Yes, of course. I did not know that he was Armenian. But with a name like that, he's simply got to be.
You're right. You haven't mentioned Josh Brolin, the Brol guy.
Correct.
Who is in Timothy Chalamet's phone as just
Brol.
What?
Is it Brolin?
Brolin, yeah.
I call him Brol.
Oh, okay.
Brol.
And Dave Bautista is also in this.
As is Stephen Henderson.
Who's Stephen Henderson?
He's a guy you've seen in everything.
Okay.
I can't think of. He's in Lady Bird. He's in Fences. He's famously in Dune. He's in. Is he in?
Oh yeah, I know this guy.
Yeah, you've seen him in
Yeah,
stuff.
for
He's
sure.
He's the definition of. He's definitely done some Law and Order episodes, and he has. So I'll have to check out Dune.
Did my description of it make you feel one way or the other?
It more locked in my trepidation, light trepidation.
Okay.
I've yet to be compelled to see the film. Part of it is definitely time related, not that it's too long, like just not having time to do it, and part of it is this seems like a movie others would like more than me.
Yeah.
While we're talking about time, though, it is crazy. Like, we're having to watch, obviously, a lot of movies for tomato fights, and just there's life, so people are busy. I cannot believe that I took the time within the past week while chipping away at the Tomato Fights database, which, again, the process is just clicking around Rotten Tomatoes, adding things to the old list. Don John. You know Don John.
The movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yes. Let me see what it is. Don John.
I quite liked that movie.
Okay, that's interesting. Don John Rotten Tomatoes is an 80. Okay, so that's not
bad.
high. I was shocked that it was that high. I assumed that Don John would be topping out at 63.
Some people really like that movie. It's one
Interesting.
of those movies that's, for some reason or another, resonates with people a lot more than some others.
Okay, so I immediately dropped what I was doing and watched Don John.
Okay.
I spent the next hour and a half watching Don John.
Like this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Being like, oh, wait, what? Don John's an 80?
I haven't seen it in a while, but I do remember watching it and liking it. It's like cringe.
It reaffirmed, yeah. It was...
It's not about good people.
My
Yeah.
opinion of it didn't change. It was, I would say that it more is deserving of anywhere between 50 and 61, 62. But, I mean, there is commitment to the bit. They all play the hell out of those characters.
Yep.
ScarJo really locks into being old Barbara Sugarman, and Tony Danza as the worked up dad. I did not know that Glenn Headley, she's in everything. She's in Sergeant Bilko. She's the love interest in that. I didn't know that she currently rests.
Oh,
Didn't know
R.I.P.
that. Yeah, she plays the mom. She's no longer with us. I did remember that Brie Larson has, I believe, 2 lines in the movie. Just sits there on her phone the whole time.
Hell yeah.
But she's great in it. Good performances. I mean, Julianne Moore. Here's the thing with her and me. I actually have no choice but to stan
That's
Julianne
right.
Moore.
Especially when she wears a dress.
Truly oh my God, truly one of the greats.
Yeah.
Love Julianne Moore so much. But yeah, I again, like, don't have time to do this, don't have time to do that. I just banged out Don John for 90 minutes.
Now I might go back and revisit that. It's been a while since I've watched that movie.
Very much like the height of Jersey bro culture.
Which
Him
to
and his
have
two
Joseph
buddies go
Gordon
out.
to have Joseph Gordon-Levitt play that role is hilarious because he couldn't, in my mind, could not be further from that character.
Right. I mean, he written directed by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Okay.
So he really, that's what I find so interesting. I'm like, that's what you write and
Right,
direct, man?
yeah, right.
It's such a weird.
I can't
not
even
that, like, you're
imagine
not allowed
thinking
to-
about like that plot.
Yeah, like, not that you're not allowed to make a movie about masturbation, but like that's just not what I would have expected from Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But maybe that's what he was going for. Maybe he was like, you know what? I'm not
I need
Angels in
something-
the Outfield, 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah. And maybe he was just like, hey, I need to test myself as an actor or director and a writer. I got to do something that is not like extremely personal to me, or it's not extremely relatable to me. So this is a project that is far outside of my scope, or like I want people to not put me in this box. I'll make this movie.
Other 80s that are in the database are The Manchurian Candidate, Bridget Jones's Diary, and Office Space. Pick a random number. Let's see I'll tell you what we've got in the database.
82.
82. Walk the Line.
Okay.
Scarface.
Scarface is an 82?
Way higher than I would expect.
Really?
Yeah, did you expect lower?
No, I expected
I'm sorry,
higher.
you expected higher?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, John Mulaney has a bit on Scarface that kind of blows the cover off of it. He's like, hey, just so everyone knows, like, Scarface is a terrible movie. And, like, the second it's pointed out to you, you're like, oh, yeah. Like, I love it. But there's a lot of ridiculous, terrible aspects of it. Walk the Line, Scarface, Saturday Night Fever. Man. Al. Go somewhere else. Carlito's Way. A lot of Pacino.
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
That's surprising.
That's, I believe, is an Edgar Wright project.
I think
And I saw an Edgar Wright project this week with Last Night in Soho. I'm having fun with this. Name a couple other numbers.
87.
87, Brokeback Mountain.
Okay.
Heath Ledger famously
Never
in that.
seen it.
Me neither.
Okay.
Which is weird because he was nominated for, I think, Best Actor for that. American Beauty.
Okay.
Have seen
that.
it.
Yep.
Canceled. Problematic.
Yep. Well, I mean, it was
Swingers.
problematic when
It was-
the subject matter is problematic.
Right.
But especially
Unfortunately, maybe a little foreshadowing.
Mhm.
Brokeback Mountain, American Beauty, Swingers.
saw that recently.
So have I. I feel like I see that way more often. Than,
That was a movie that did not click until recently. Like, I'd seen it several times, and I knew that it was beloved, and I knew that it launched some careers in a way.
Yeah.
I'd never really got it, and then I watched it recently, and I was like, oh, yeah, this movie, like, kind of rocks. It like, does its own thing.
It also has Donnie Darko.
I have not seen that, but that is a movie that's been on my mind recently as a movie that I should watch.
Right. I don't know that movie at all. I know that Jake Gyllenhaal.
I know there's like a
Is
scary
it-
bunny costume.
I know there's a scary bunny costume, and I know the Tears for Fears song that is covered for it, Mad World.
Yeah.
That everyone loves that shit, but I don't know anything about that movie. Let's see. I'm just gonna do a random number. Let's see. What's 66 doing? 66. Home Alone.
That's crazy.
Oh, I have in my notes. Apparently, we will do in December. 66
Okay.
we got to do because we should do Home Alone, right?
Absolutely.
Home
How
Alone?
the fuck did anybody see Home Alone and was like, not for me?
This is a fun matchup, dude. I think without even getting to the other 66s, I think we got to do Home Alone versus Clue.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm down with that.
66. Mission Impossible is 66.
The first one?
Yep.
Okay.
The Blind Side is 66.
That's fine.
Yeah, I don't remember The Blind Side, but
Very, like, white savior.
oh, I remember
Complex.
that being a thing that people talked about. So anyway, it's fun learning all these numbers. You're going to want to hear Jay Baruchel react to some Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Yes.
I don't want to spoil it,
We
but
could have
definitely listen to
done an hour and a half of just reading
Yes, I wanted
Rotten
to.
Tomato scores to Jay Baruchel.
I wanted
That would
to.
have been like a brunch. That would have been like a really good brunch podcast, like straight up on this feed.
Yeah.
Being like when we did the episode when we met Randy Havens, and we were like, hey, let's talk about adult shit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how to keep a home and things like that. Doing a full episode on Jay Baruchel reacting to Rotten Tomatoes would be a fun concept.
And it was cool because we'd never met Jay Baruchel before, and we wanted to, like, there was temptation to just not necessarily Chris Farley show him, but like first time talking to Jay Baruchel, I don't know, like I have some questions I would want to ask Jay Baruchel.
Yeah.
So it was like
it's very
fun.
It's very interesting because he comes off as extremely humble and extremely like approachable.
Yeah.
And he's a guy you can hang out with. But then you like look at his resume and you're like, holy
Oh
shit,
fuck,
you've
he did
done
$1 Million Baby.
He did $1 Million Baby. Even like when he was a kid, he was an Almost Famous.
Oh, yeah.
He was, he was an Undeclared with
Yeah.
working with Apatow at the height of Apatow.
Yeah.
Like, and
He
still
was-
continues to work with like people at their height.
Yeah.
And he's hot shit. He has a stacked resume that I think would catch a lot of people off guard.
Only spent a second on it with him, but and this kind of speaks to the point of meeting him and then just immediately being like, okay, we're gonna jump into this podcast that like has this tone, like let's see how it goes. And he was fantastic, but we're able to at least bring up for 1 second that Jay Baruchel is part of my favorite, probably your favorite death scene in movie history. This is the end.
Oh yeah.
David
There's so
Krumholtz.
many great death scenes in that movie.
But that is number one ever. And like Jeremy Renner in The Town is up there for me, but nothing better than David Krumholtz walking like step by step through. Here's what's gonna happen. Are you going to be able to do this? And then immediately fucking dying. It was great. And yeah, Baruchel's the fucking man. Really, really cool he did that. Again, patreon.com/listen to brunch. You're also going to want to hear his answer to, isn't this a good idea for a podcast?
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait. Probably we'll do it now that we have 4. I'm going to start compiling everyone's answer to the question. If you haven't listened to Tomato Fights yet, the first question we ask all the guests is, isn't this a good idea for the podcast? And the answers have been amazing so far. And his was no exception. I watched Don John. No, I did Last Night in Soho, which I think might be Edgar Wright's first movie since Baby Driver, which I love Baby Driver so much.
Same. I wish that it wasn't canceled as much as it is.
So we talk about that with Jay Baruchel too when we bring up The Usual Suspects. Personally, I do not. I in all seriousness, I don't eliminate work that includes somebody bad. I feel bad for, and I know that she's had some not great comments on this, but like on a human level, I do feel bad that like Felicia Rashad's best work is now
like tied to an
ignored.
Unforgivable thing. Yeah.
You would never in a million years put Cosby Show on your network, right?
No, because
think of all the great work that, and again, like obviously, one person was doing horrible shit.
That's a situation that is probably different from a lot of other situations because the Cosby Show was built around Bill Cosby's reputation and built around Bill Cosby
America's
as a
dad.
person.
Yeah.
And so that situation is a bit different in a vacuum.
Yeah. Shout out Felicia Rashad, Tempest Bledsoe, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Adam Sandler, Lisa Bonet, everybody.
Like I don't think that I don't think a lot of places are taking like 7 out of a rotation to show, like for movies. I don't think that people are rushing to eliminate Baby Driver from like their movie libraries and stuff because it's not like it's that stuff isn't built around Kevin Spacey as a person.
Right.
I think the most damning thing is probably House of Cards because it's built around Kevin Spacey's reputation as a intimidating and problematic person, and it's a little too on the nose.
Yeah. So, Last Night in Soho, I was very much looking forward to this. Again, written, directed by Edgar Wright, co-written with Christy Norma, Leslie Wilson Carnes. So, I just read the beginning of her Wikipedia page. My bad. She just goes by Christy Wilson Cairns, but whatever. You want to rock a super long name? Add whatever you want. Thomasin McKenzie.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if I say her name right. Thomasin, something. Anya Taylor-Joy. They're the 2 real people in this, but it just looked amazing fashion-wise. So I was really excited to see it.
So give me
in London in the 60s, kind of.
Yeah, give me the skinny because I know very little about this movie other than there is like a dream universe.
Yeah, I didn't get it either from the trailer. So Mackenzie plays a girl named Ellie, a girl called Ellie, who is obsessed with the swinging 60s. And she wants to be a fashion designer, obsessed with 60s fashion.
It's like she's a person now?
Today.
Okay.
She gets into a prestigious fashion institute in London, moves there. She has visions of her mother who killed herself when she was young. And when Ellie was young, she lives with her grandmother. She moves to London by herself. She's warned by her grandmother, like, hey, your mom also moved to London, and London's like a scary place. Didn't treat her too well.
And look how that went.
Right. Like, really be careful with this. She moves there, has a brutal roommate who's just a dickhead to her.
Okay.
Her roommate wants to party all the time, smash the fellas, which, whatever, that's fine, but...
A real, what time are you going to the party?
Exactly.
Roommates.
That type of energy, which again, you want to go to college and party and everything, but she does it in like a very exclusive way.
Okay.
Not a nice roommate. Makes fun of her in front of, she's having a hard time making friends. There's this guy who's really nice to her, but she's like, yo, I've just got to focus on my studies. Like, I'm here to do this. So she moves out, gets an apartment in a building with an old woman who's like, yo, I'm no fun. I'm an old woman. No boys after 8 o'clock. A lot of rules. Really.
It's real dry and dusty in there.
Totally.
Okay.
And just gives her, like, this apartment is shitty and old and has like a kitchenette type of thing. But honestly, for a college student or even like someone in their
The standards
like,
are low.
20s,
The bar is low, yeah.
if you're living in London, that's fucking great, I would say. Put you wherever and then you're off and running. So she lives there. And at night, in her dreams, she sees a young woman in the 60s who is having these experiences and wants to be a singer and is going to these clubs, going to these bars and everything.
And that's Anya Taylor-Joy.
That's Anya Taylor-Joy. And there's a guy who is like kind of her agent-ish type thing. She's introduced to him saying like, hey, you want to be a star, you work with this guy. So
Okay.
every time she falls asleep, she sees this, and she's seeing herself there. So whenever there's a mirror, you see the other person in it.
Classic trick.
Yeah. So there's like makeout scenes where the two of them are making out, and then depending on whether you're seeing the mirror or IRL, it's switching between Mackenzie and Taylor-Joy, which is cool. And again, the clothing and everything is perfect.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I
Looks
remember
so
from
cool.
the trailer being like, this looks awesome.
Right. So, as this young woman's career progresses, she starts to see more things that are not good.
Like a lot of dirty shit behind the scenes or whatever, right?
Something bad is happening
Okay.
to this young lady.
Okay.
And Ellie is determined to solve the case of what did these people do to this woman.
Okay.
And because she's seeing the buildings, she sees the buildings in her dreams, and then like the next day when she's walking around, she'll see that building, and it's a place she'd never been before. So she knows that what she's dreaming actually happened.
Okay.
And it's freaking her out, and she wants to save this poor girl who's having some very bad shit done to her.
I'll tell you, this sounds a lot like that horror movie that we watched recently.
A lot of it goes down a
Similar
beaten
road.
path.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, it's a road that's been so before I saw it, a coworker had seen it, and I asked, another coworker asked, like, what would a movie critic say about this movie? And she was like, she would say its second act resorts to some things we've seen a million times
Okay.
before. So I'll say in the beginning of this movie, I was 100% in.
Okay.
Really, like
Sells you.
just the cast.
True.
Mackenzie's great.
Looks great.
She's
has
gonna be a
people you
star.
like.
Yeah. So obviously we were big Jojo Rabbit fans. She was in Old, but more like you're buying stock on Tomas and Mackenzie.
Absolutely.
She is going to rule Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Great young actor. So all the way in, and the flashbacks were really interesting, and the characters are really interesting. So I was all in. I was like, oh, this is going to be like my favorite movie of the year. And then about halfway through, 2/3 of the way through, I was like, oh, this is, without question, a bad movie.
Ooh.
Really disappointing. Like, I'm so sad this movie sucks. And then by the end of it, I was like, well, that was pretty good.
Really?
So yeah, it really kind of puts you through your paces.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting because I feel like it's hard to like recover from that once you have those thoughts one way or another.
Because you
like,
feel, you're like mad at the movie at that point.
right. And like if you are watching the first half and you're like, oh, this is an awesome movie, it's going to be one of my favorite of the year. Like you don't want to let that go.
Right.
It takes a lot for you to let that go and like admit that, oh, this isn't that good. And then like to admit to a point where you're like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then eventually give some space back on that. Holy now that maybe sold me more than anything.
Yeah, it was like my Twitter review of it was just like, I don't think I've seen a movie that has pulled me in so many directions before where, yeah, because you're right. Once it loses you, or once once you have your like personal tone shift from, oh, this is great, I can't wait to see every second of this, keep giving it to me, to like, well, this could have been great, but it didn't end up being great. You're so upset and like betrayed by what could have been that even if it recovers a little bit, you're like, well, that was just kind of blah.
Yeah.
But honestly, by the end of this, I was like, no, that was a pretty good movie.
Okay.
I think that
What's it at on the RT?
yeah, I think it's a lot more beloved on RT than I
think that I saw Feidelberg say that he really liked it.
Okay, so it would not surprise me if people loved this movie.
Okay.
Oh, it's a 74 on Rotten Tomatoes, which I would that's in the neighborhood of what I thought.
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
not, like I would expect that it to be around that number based off of your feelings towards it.
Yeah, I think I was probably talking like 72-ish about it,
Okay,
somewhere like
okay.
that, right? High audience score though, 91.
Oh,
I
wow.
believe Feidelberg was in the audience when he saw it, so this would track, but not as good as Baby Driver, not as good as some of Wright's other stuff. I will say, this won't track with you at all, but my meme of the week is, I've yet to make it, but when you have Anya Taylor-Joy in something, and then it's the nut button with montage of her drinking too much and dancing.
I assume that's a Queen's Gambit bit.
Oh boy, is that Queen's Gambit, and they do the same thing in this movie. But it's wait, shoot, no way.
What?
There's an old guy in the movie that you're like, ooh, I don't trust this old guy. What's his deal? And it's Terrence Stamp. What the heck?
I don't know if I know.
They
who Terrence
really
Stamp is.
they put a hat on him, so he could be anybody.
Okay.
You're not an Entourage guy, that's why.
Yeah.
Terrence Stamp is he plays Terrence in Entourage.
Okay.
They name him Terrence for that role.
So he wasn't really acting for him.
I don't think he's acted he hasn't worked a day in his life. When you love the job, Pete, it ain't work.